Today, we're going to try and cut through some of the usual talk about gentrification.
Yeah, it's often sold as just, urban revitalization, natural progress, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But our sources, well, they argue it's something quite different, a much more systemic process.
They frame it as racialized displacement, actually.
Yeah.
And a way wealth gets accumulated, often impacting Black communities the most.
So the key thing for you listening is that this isn't just about class. Our sources really stress this.
Right. It's about how neighborhood value, historically, and even now, gets tied to race. Whiteness, essentially, often signals desirability in the market.
Understanding that linkage is pretty crucial, isn't it?
Absolutely. It helps make sense of a lot.
Okay, so let's dive in. Where does this start? The sources point way back, don't they?
Yeah. It's not new.
Yeah.
Think mid-20th century. Policies like redlining.
Right, the HOLC, the FHA,
Yeah.
they literally drew lines on maps.
And explicitly denied mortgages, denied investment, particularly in Black neighborhoods. They called them hazardous.
There was even an FHA manual, wasn't there? 1935. Discouraging.
Yes, discouraging incompatible racial groups living together. It was blatant.
So that directly stopped Black families building wealth while
simultaneously subsidizing white flight to the suburbs, it created this disinvestment by design. They called it blight.
a manufactured condition.
Yeah.
And then came urban renewal.
Exactly, 1950s to the 70s. Many people at the time called it something else, though.
Negro removal. Stark language.
And accurate, according to the sources. This federal program used eminent domain, displacing at least 1.2 million people.
And the racial disparity was huge. Black Americans were, 13% of the population?
But made up 55% of those displaced. Minimum.
Wow. The Cincinnati example is really stark. Kenyon Bar.
Almost 5,000 families forced out, 97% of them Black, for an expressway. That's the legacy we're building on.
So that historical context sets the stage for today. How does it work now? The sources mention racial capitalism.
Right. It's this idea that race itself is leveraged for profit. A neighborhood's value is seen as tied to its racial makeup.
How does that, play out on the ground?
Well, first, Black neighborhoods get devalued. Allows for cheap land acquisition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, ironically...
They use the culture.
Exactly. Black culture gets commodified.
Yeah.
Naming condos after Langston Hughes, marketing the vibe, It attracts new, wealthier, often white residents. It's extraction.
And that new money, it pushes prices up.
Massively. Harlem's a key example in the sources. Housing prices up 247% in a decade.
Which obviously forces out long-term residents, rents, property taxes.
It becomes unaffordable.
Yeah.
But it's not always just passive market forces. There's predatory stuff, too.
What kind of things?
Well, like lowball offers to homeowners who might be vulnerable. Cash offers way below market value.
And for renters?
Coercive tactics. Landlords trying to push out rent-regulated tenants with, say, illegal rent hikes, or maybe cutting essential services, making it unbearable.
Yeah. And the impact isn't just financial, is it?
No, not at all. The sources call it a mental and emotional eviction. It's loss. Alienation.
Losing your community, your familiar places.
Your corner store, your church, your gathering spots. And Black-owned businesses often disappear too, which hits wealth and identity.
This seems to be happening everywhere. The sources mentioned D.C.
Yeah, D.C., Chocolate City, lost 61,000 Black residents. Policies actively courted creative class professionals.
And Atlanta. The Beltline Project is often cited.
Intense gentrification there. It even contributed to a sort of reverse Great Migration. Black families pushed out to the suburbs.
Los Angeles, specifically Watts, showed something interesting too, right? A shift.
A really nuanced picture.
Right.
Watts went from majority Black to 80% Latino. The sources talk about a racial hierarchy of preferences.
Meaning Black communities get displaced first?
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Making way for other groups, and then eventually often wealthier, whiter residents. It's like layers of displacement.
Okay, so pulling this all together, the main argument from these sources is clear.
Yeah, gentrification isn't some neutral, inevitable market thing. It's presented as a system.
A system extracting wealth, moving it from vulnerable groups to, wealthier ones, often along racial lines.
And they draw a sharp line between that and genuine revitalization.
Where the original community benefits, right? They're empowered, not pushed out.
Exactly. Which leads to a big question, really.
What would it actually look like for a city to prioritize community over capital, truly?
What policies would make sure that happens? That the people who weathered the disinvestment actually see the benefits of new investment.
And maybe what role do you listening play in pushing for that kind of change? Something to think about.